This is the English version of a talk I gave in Latin Art 2024. It is called Creating a Better Universe with dverse. So let me explain the motivation behind this talk. And it is that I realized that to document a universe of R packages, not just one R package, but a collection of R packages, was a lot harder than I thought it should. First, I'm going to be talking about the Tidyverse as one example, maybe the iconic example of an R package universe. And then I'm going to be talking about the Tidy Models universe. But those are just examples. Know that the package I'm going to be presenting is useful for any universe of packages. It could be your own universe, and they don't have to be on CRAN. So Tidyverse is a collection of our packages that include things like dplyr, dplyr2, glue, and a few other packages. And it is great because it allows you to very easily install all those packages at once, and also allows you to use all those packages at once. So it centralizes the installation of all of those packages and centralizes the usage of the functions and the data sets in those packages. But the issue is that it does not centralize the documentation. So if you want to know something about a function in ggplot2, you have to know first that ggplot2 exists within the Tidyverse. It's not enough to know, oh, there is something called the Tidyverse. You need to know that, well, within the Tidyverse, there is something called ggplot2. And then you need to go to the website of ggplot2 and find that function, right? Same for, say, dplyr. So now you need to know that there is a package called dplyr. You need to go to its website, which is a different website than ggplot2, and then find what you're looking for. So for more than the universe centralizes installation and centralizes the usage, it does not centralize documentation. Another example, as I mentioned before, is the Tidy model. So we started with the same, right? So it's also a collection of our packages. It's a cousin of the Tidyverse. It also has a meta package that allows you to centralize the installation of all those packages by just using install.packages and quote Tidy models. And also centralizes the usage of all those objects within those packages by using library. But different to the Tidyverse, the Tidy models does go a little bit beyond that to where I want it to be. Tidy Models does provide in the website of the Tidy Models universe a table which has a search engine, a search box, where you can type something like, say, predict, and the entire documentation of the entire Tidy Models could get filtered to match predict. So in this case, for example, we are matching the word predict in the name of a function that exists in the Tidy predict package, but also we are matching documentation in the probably package, not specifically in the name of the function, but the word predict exists in the title of two functions there. So that's great. So the only issue with this table is not what you see as a user, but what you implement as a developer. So going to the source code of this table, we can see that it's a pretty long file. So I'm here showing just the head and the tail of the source code of that table. And you can see that it's something that, for more than it's great for the users, if I am a developer, I want to reuse this code, I need to do quite a bit of work. It's not so straightforward. So there is where dverse comes in. Dverse means document your universe, and that's exactly what it does. So to show you, what it does and how, let's go to its website. And I'm going to show you the Get Started article. It's pretty straightforward. First, I'm using dplyr, but not because it's going to be part of my example universe, but simply because I'm going to be using a couple of functions to manipulate the data structure that dverse generates. The universe that I'm defining here for this example is composed by two packages. I decided that my universe is going to be glue and tibble. Those two packages are my universe. So the first thing I need to do is to use them with library, and then I'm going to create a little variable that's called packages and has those two packages in it. And then that is the only obligatory argument to the function document universe, which lives in this dverse package. The second argument is not obligatory, but it is very useful, so most likely you want it, which is the URL template. So basically, the address that user needs to type in their web browser to go visit the help files. The thing here is to identify where in that URL you have the package name, right? In this case, glue or tibble, and then replace that with just the word package and put that into these curly braces. And then also identify where is in that URL, where is the topic, which is the name of the function, like the function as glue or as tibble, which are functions within those packages, and then replace that with the word topic in curly braces. So that is the URL template, and with those two things, Document Universe has everything it needs to create this tibble, this data frame that contains all the documentation of your universe. And here you will see that there is not only help files, but it will also get articles like vignettes, for example, and it will also get internal functions. So now it's very flexible, it's very inclusive too, but then also means that you need to manipulate it a little bit if you want to separate those things. So say that you only want to show the traditional help files, excluding articles, excluding vignettes, and excluding internal functions. Okay, in that case, because this is simply a table, you manipulate it with tools that you already know. So I'm gonna be calling a filter just to focus on help files, excluding articles and excluding internal functions. And then I'm gonna be using select from dplyr 2 to pick just 3 columns that are the most useful for that kind of documentation that I want to generate in this example, which are the topic, which is the name of the function or the name of the dataset, the title, which typically describes very succinctly in one sentence what that object does, and then the package, so where does this object come from, right? So that is the table that I wanted to generate, and then the next step is to create a clickable table and a searchable table. And that's something we can do, for example, with the T-data table. The T-data table has a bunch of options that you can manipulate to make your tables look pretty, like the one that you saw for 3D models. But in this case, I'm going to use a few options just for demonstration. Even the vanilla call to data table, it will give you something extremely useful. So here you can see that if I have this search box, if I type, say, as underscore, the entire universe will be filtered to match just whatever this search term is matching. So in this case, I'm matching as glue and as tibble. And as you can see, if I click on as glue, I'm gonna be going to the documentation of as glue, and if I click on as tibble, I'm gonna go to the documentation of as tibble, right? And these two functions live in different websites, so that demonstrates the centralization power of this tool. And that's all I wanted to show. It's pretty straightforward, it's easy to use, so I hope that you also find it useful for your own universes. Thank you.